Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of You Guessed It. You can't make this BS up. I need to know how my no bullshit gang doing. Yeah, I hope y'all doing fine. Man, listen, I am so sorry I left y'all hanging a little bit. This new job, trying to be a boss, is a lot of work. Okay. I wanted to be my own guy and wanted to make more money. And let me tell you, being a boss is not what you think it's cracked up to be. There's a lot of work, a lot of juggling. I had some personal issues going on in my personal life. I had to straighten out too. Finally on the road to doing that the right way. Just a lot this week, man. Just a lot. Also got some musical therapy by working on my first EP. It's going to be called Who is Joel Davis. I got a couple of singles out there right now. One single out there that's going to probably be part of EP is Pray For Me. My first time producing and singing and arranging. I'm proud of it. It may not be the best song in the world to most people, but I think I love the meaning behind it. It's raw, it's melodic, it talks about things that's going on. That's why I introduced it to you guys. And please, if you want to support it, go on over to Spotify, look up Joel Davis. It will be me in the picture with my album cover, Who is Joel Davis, and just, show support, man. I will have some merch as soon as I start this project and really getting down to it. And then you can support it by checking it out. And you never know. I may be performing it on live here online here, local. We never know. But we'll see how it works out in the meantime. Uh Man. So I wanted to do some housekeeping thank yous right quick from a couple of people that showed your boy support. But before I do that, I want to give a shout out to my big brother, King Arthur, over there on My Brother's Keepers. That's right, who does true crime about black guys who kill. I can't do it like he do it. Voices out. I can't do the high note. But he had a birthday. I gave him his flowers while he is alive. I appreciate him for putting me in that. Also, want to give a shout out to Melanated Mysteries, to Willie. Did business with me on their first intro beat, and I'm pretty ecstatic about that. Nora Tales, Alanya, thank you for also supporting the beat that I did for you and everything else. So I'm just giving the flowers to the people that's been supporting me while I can. I also wanted, speaking of her, she left me a comment about the podcast the last week that I did about I spoke about how I felt about what happened with Charlie Kirk and that people being reckless talking about this young man and celebrating his death instead of using this as a talking point that we have to be careful on what we do and how we move. So the comment I got was from her, and it was on the Robert Terry Ellis episode, Evil is Inside of Me. She said, "Thank you so much for saying this. I don't agree with 99.9% of what Charlie Kirk promoted, but that was wrong. Respect." And I appreciate that. And that's what I'm talking about. We can all agree to disagree. You know how many people are in friendships, relationships that do not agree politically on a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, they respect each other enough to do the right thing and come to a compromise. That's all we ask. Come to a compromise. You don't have to like everything somebody is saying, but come to a compromise in a human perspective because we all human. So yes, I appreciate it. Man, today's case is crazy. Okay, we're talking about Sasha Skare, who is very, very, very unknown. I think that only one other podcast recently talked about her, and I didn't know that until I researched the story. Sisters Who Kill, they did it first. But you know, when I do things, I do it my way. You know, that's just how it is. And let's just put it to you this way. Sasha, Sasha is the suspect And the victim is a young man named Martell DeRoyan. Now, Martell DeRoyan is the cousin on the mother side of Beyoncé. That's right, Beyoncé, the famous singer. But the reason why you have probably never heard of Martell as big as his cousin Beyoncé, because he was an underground producer, okay, around Texas. And people don't know this about Texas unless you're from Texas or in the music scene. Texas and California, and I would also say Atlanta. Texas, California, and Atlanta, Georgia, North Georgia area is the only places, there are a few places in the United States that you can do music and make just as much money as a mainstream artist without ever, I mean ever, getting a Grammy, doing a major anything, because the people there support their local artists that heavy. So that's why a lot of people that are in those states, when they branch out to other states around those surrounding states, they make way more money than someone who, let's say, was a budding artist coming out of a South Carolina or North Carolina back in the day before the internet popped off, and you have to do all your stuff by busting your behind, and you have to go to these cities to get your name out there, versus you could just have word of mouth and go to one particular performance in that city. But this story here is very tragic, and we're gonna talk about how this young man lost his life and how this young woman had, I cannot, been a thorn in a lot of men's side. Let's jump into the story of Sasha Scared. So, tough fuck, guys, hold on. So, it was on a cold night in San Antonio, and behind this locked door, ambition, love, grief, and rage would collide with fatal consequences. This is the story of Martell DeRoyan. That was a rapper, producer, cousin of the music icon Beyoncé, and a woman who would later have to face a jury of her peers for taking his life. But we're going to trace the steps. We're going to talk about how Martell rise, his personal struggles, his relationship with Sasha Skare, and how one January night turned into a fatality where he lost his life. If you hear my wife singing in the background, that is my girl having her time. All right, let's jump into it. Martell DeRoyan was born in 19 Louisiana. Now, Martell's parents was Leonard Michael DeRoyan and Melissa Ann Ford Davis. Okay, don't get it confused to the video vixen Melissa Ford. Okay, now he had two brothers, Skylar DeRoyan, who was a former University of Massachusetts basketball star, and then he had another brother named Curtis Trey Lee Davis, the third, and he had one sister that was named. Now, in 2024, he graduated from New Iberia High School in New Iberia, Louisiana. And this is, again, out of the Iberia Parish, because in Louisiana, they do not have, they have parishes. Now, I know y'all want to know, well, how in the world is he related to Beyoncé? Well, the Cardone, which was his rap name, is the cousin of Beyoncé through her mother's mother, which is Agnes DeRoyan, who was also from New Iberia Parish, Louisiana. Now, I guess as time went on, they changed the way they pronounced their last name, on which is his father's a DeRoyan. I guess instead of he saying Agnes DeRoyan, they did Rowan. So I guess you could spell it both ways. I don't know. But anyway, that's how they connect. Now, in 2006, 2 years after he graduated from high school, he married a lady named Joa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Now, in 2016, and he started getting a buzz because Empire released his debut mixtape titled Trump Bank. Now, a lot of people did not know that this was Beyonce cousin because he had talked about this when it was discovered a little bit in local Texas that Beyonce was his cousin. He was like, "Listen, I don't want to ride on my cousin's coattails. Everybody in the family already do that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's my cousin, but I'm doing me. Okay, I'm Cardone, and don't you forget it." So as he making his way, people describe Cardone as a good dude. He was humble, he was driven, he was the life of the party, he liked to have fun. Like this was a young man who was comfortable in his own skin. Then in 2019, he signed to a label called Orchid that is owned by Sony. So this guy was doing good. You know, he was on his way to the top. All right. He was like living his best life. Now, his personal life not doing so much because in between this time, him and his wife started having difficulties. So they were definitely being separated. But besides all that, everybody bragged about how lyrically gifted Martell. Okay. They said that he was not just stereotypical rapper, right? He was not flashy. He wasn't the type of guy that when he get a headline or hear somebody is gonna be somewhere that could boost his career. He wasn't like, oh my God, I gotta get on that headline, dog. Yo, call so and so, tell him I'm Beyonce cousin. Let me get on. He wasn't like that. It was like, okay, if I get on, I get on. If I don't, I don't. He was very low key. You know what I mean? He wasn't the type of guy to be like, hey, I live in a high rise apartment. Come holler at me. He always focused on his lyrics, his production, and the grind of independent music. And when he was on interviews, he talked about he just wanted to build a legacy through hard work. He didn't want to take no shortcuts. And under the name of Cardo, Martell released multiple projects and he started gaining a little traction. He signed up with the Orca, a subsidiary, like I said, Sony Music Group. It looked like he was about to be the next big thing. And he was a good husband. He was a brother, loyal friend. And Joya also was a musician. And the thing about Martell is even though he made a lot of the street music that everybody bounced to around in Texas, he didn't chase the street life. He just liked it. And during January of 2021, he decided to open his heart, his mentorship to a woman named Sasha Skare. Boy, oh boy, he's going to find out why her last name was called Scare. Now, not much I could find out about Sasha. Okay, I knew she was born in 1994 and she grew up in San Antonio, Texas. Now, she here had a troubled past. Like in 2016, right? Her then boyfriend, Andrew Jair Bass, introduced her to his mother, Misty Renee Bass. And she lived with them because she needed a place to stay. Gotta remember she's born in 19. So that would have made her roughly about 15 years old when they met her. Okay. So follow along with me so far, people. In 2018, she started rapping and singing when she was 17. In 2019, you know, she released an album titled Higher Quality Volume 1 with 8 songs named Travel Vision with the VIS in parentheses ION, Beyond, In My Head, For the Love of Music, Tell Me La La La, Distance, and In the Air. So she had about 8 songs. probably a beginning album of what she felt like was going to come to Patricia. But she also did modeling. I mean, she posted glamorous pictures every chick she got on the Instagram, on your social media. But Sasha had a criminal record. Oh, excuse me. She was born in 1994, guys. I am so sorry. I made her younger than what she was. Let me rephrase that. She was born in 1994. So I corrected myself because I ain't want y'all to be in y'all feelings like, come on, man. So yeah, so 1994. So like I said, when she met this guy at the time in 2016, she was 22 years old. So at age 22, she done came to her new boyfriend like, yo, I ain't got a place to stay. And, mom was like, all right, you can move on in because we liked it. But Sasha also had a criminal record because, see, they didn't know 2 years prior than that, when she was around about 19 or 20, she was charged in connection with a deadly shooting involving her boyfriend at the time. See, the incident left one man dead, as in he is no longer with us. Yeah. No, and I'm not laughing because man died. It's just something to keep in thought here. All right. So this is what happened. See, on November 29, 2019, she and Andrew met another man at an apartment, Austin, to buy marijuana. Now the men shot each other, which led to Andrew's death. Now the other man survived and said he had known her since 2018. Now in 2019, in that December the 12th, she was arrested in Converse, Texas, booked in Bexar County Jail in San Antonio. Now she was charged with aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. So already, this girl is already a criminal in the making. But now she claimed her innocence. But the prosecutors was like, nah, man, this girl's a manipulator, you know. But she eventually took a plea deal for a lesser charge related to the shooting. Now, despite this history, Sasha continued trying to push her music career. Social media became her stage. Her Instagram filled with careful, curated photos, raps, and promotions. She seemed to crave the spotlight. But beneath that surface, described her as unstable, and prone to act the fool. You know that girl that goes 0 to 100 real quick. You know what I'm saying? You could be just passing by and some girl just come up to you and say, hey, how you doing? And then all of a sudden she'd be like, bitch, who you talking to about how you doing? I think one of them. So now we into 2020. Sasha and Martell has crossed paths. Now, there's been a couple of rumors out there on how they actually met. Now, some reported it started as a professional relationship and that Martell was just mentoring her as an artist. Others speculated that there were more between them, but they just know that Sasha became part of Martell's world. I'm going to say it like this, and this is my personal opinion. I think that Sasha and Martell was, let me get that clap. He was beating them cheeks up, okay? This is a girl 13 years younger than he is. He's a young man who is enjoying his best life. That's a couple years younger than him, best life. And I think that he's probably like, you know what, little shorty cute. You know what I'm saying? I can dig that. I can get down with that. You know, I don't see the problem. And I think that's what happened. I think that he really liked what he saw. And ain't nothing wrong with that. A lot of guys get like that. You know what I'm saying? They see somebody that's young and attractive, and they want to get it in. I mean, he is a young man who is intrigued by this younger woman. So I don't see why he didn't. So here we are now. It's January 26, 2021, right? San Antonio police receive a call for a welfare check at Martell DeRoyan's apartment, located in 500 block of La Cantera Parkway. Now, Martell's wife, Joe, hasn't heard from him in days. People are blowing up her phone too. They worry. like something wasn't right. Like, Joel, you sure you ain't heard from Martell or Cardell? No, I haven't heard from him. So everybody concerned. So officers said, all right, we'll do a welfare check. They entered the apartment and, pushed the door open like they normally would do, or probably got one of the maintenance men to open the door. And inside they found Martell's body. He had been shot to death, right? He was considered DOA on arrival. Now, this stunned everybody because they like, who in the world would take out Cardone? If you like, he wasn't no gang banger. He wasn't dealing no street pharmacy. He was a good guy, low key. He was a husband, a dreamer. So the detective's like, all right, well, let's find out. So they start getting information from neighbors, and everybody talking about this one girl. And this girl named Sasha Skare. They're like, yeah, Sasha been always over there every chance she get. So they're like, really? They're like, oh yeah. Now, meanwhile, this was very interesting to them because they was like, we got to find this girl and find out, what she knows about what happened to Cardone. While they're doing the investigation, there was people that had ring door cam footage of this girl having a gun in her hand and acting the damn fool trying to get back in the door, causing a disturbance at Martell's house, apartment. People said that they even had proof that they heard that gunshot, but some thought nothing of it. So soon, everybody wanted to know on January 27th, where in the world was 21-year-old Sasha Skare? Because they need to talk to her. So they put her all across headlines. And social media lived up. Now, at the time of her photo, she was trying to get over a scar. I think she finally was able to cover that scar up later, but she had got into a serious burn from an explosion. So that's why her face looked very distorted in her booking photo, which now her face doesn't look like that. So I'm quite confident that this was during a time that was trying to heal. So they searching and searching and searching and searching. Sasha, she ain't nowhere to be found. Some people thought she might be hiding, and they was like, yo, she might be getting help and all this stuff. So finally, they was like, we're going to get it. And they did. They tracked it down, and she was arrested without incident. Now, Martell's family want answers, right? Because they want to know, why did Sasha kill Martell? What happened? Was it jealousy, anger? Was it because he wasn't dealing with her no more? What happened? So after the arrest, Sasha was charged with murder. Prosecutors argued that the evidence was clear she had been with Martell, she had motive, and her history of violence painted a picture of a woman capable of murder. In court, Martell's family described their grief. His wife, Joa, lost a man she called her soulmate. Friends lost a leader in the San Antonio hip-hop scene. But the case dragged on. Sasha's defense team painted her as a troubled but misunderstood. Now, they did some legal maneuvering, delayed proceedings, and everything else. Now, the reason why Martell death sent so much shockwave is because he wasn't another statistic. He was a man with a dream. He was a husband. He was a friend. And the fans mourn his loss. On social media, fellow artists pledged to honor his legacy. His wife and family vowed to keep his memory alive. Now, as for Sasha, her arrest raised bigger question. How many chances does someone get? How does a young girl tied to a deadly shooting in 2014 find herself again at the center of another murder? But it's easy. They didn't hit her with the book the first time. So what happened? Well, I tell you, she finally got sentenced to 50. So this is what happened during the trials. After she done got arrested, the prosecutor had came back with a plea deal, right? They're like, listen, it's for your client, to her lawyer who was representing her at the time. Listen, your client, we got all this case on her ass, all right? Now, she gonna be done for, but we can help her out. If she take his plea deal, 20, and admit guilt, and I don't know if it was for a lesser charge or the same charge. I think it was the same charge. There was a lesser charge. 20 years, plead guilty to that, she get 20 years of prison. And with the state of Texas, she probably would have done 85% and probably would have been out probably between 16 to 15, probably 16, 17 years, right? Well, that sounds like a good deal to me. If I know they got all the evidence, ring cam, all that stuff on there, people saying I did what I did, I would have been like, run it. Nah, huh? She like, take that shit to trial, bitch. So on August 28th, 2023, she began her trial in front of Judge Christina Escalona. Now, I don't know what she thought, because this is a female judge, that she was going to get a little bit of saving grace for sentencing, but it did not happen. That trial only lasted for 2 days. Actually, 3 days. And by that same day, they came with the verdict. Guilty on that ass. That's right, guilty. Judge Christina Escalona, the next following day, looked at old girl and told her, after hearing the witness impact statement, oh, you about to do 55 years, baby. You ain't be eligible for parole to 2048. And it is now 2024. That means another 24 years before she can even look at maybe getting out. That's why I try to tell you, man, this is crazy. Now, if you want to find out more about this story, I got a lot of this off of the episode Snap, season 34, episode 6. You can also look at some of the notes about Cardone and his life and his family, with interviews talking about the things he did, the things that he did with his family. My thoughts on what happened with this case. My thoughts. Y'all know it's my thoughts time, and I'm about to tell you what it is. First things first, I'm going to talk about Martell. I understand that we all have problems in our marriages and lives, but Martell should have really used the resources he had with the people he was connected to find out what type of woman this woman was. Because you got this beautiful, gorgeous girl that you working with, but she also gets very volatile, or y'all supposed to be dealing with each other. And I got a feeling that she probably knew that he was married, and probably knew that him and his wife were still dealing with each other, even though they were probably separated during the time. I think that sometime or another, Martell might have started realizing that he just wanted to be back with his wife and kids, and he just didn't want to be dealing with this bullshit with the side chick. And I felt like that he underestimated this side chick energy, because I'm quite sure Martell would have realized that this girl had a past of setting up plays to where her baby daddy, I mean, not her baby daddy, but her boyfriend and the dope boy both almost lost both of their lives, but only her boyfriend did. He would have never stepped in that arena. Second thing is, I want to talk about is this crazy ass woman, Sasha Skare. Like, bitch, you knocking on the door with a semi-automatic in your hand at a nice apartment building. You didn't think that they didn't have ring cameras in apartment buildings too? Like, apartment buildings, everybody now has a ring camera. All you need is the internet. You can get, I mean, come on. Someone is always watching you. And two, you had to have a lot of balls to be comfortable to shoot a gun in an apartment complex. Do you know how many people are on one floor? Hey, dude, I don't even understand how she didn't get caught immediately. And another thing that really blew my mind in the case, she said that during the trial that she was afraid for her life. But the reason why she had the gun and knocked on the door because she needed to get her personal items. If you're afraid for your life and you have the chance to escape, why didn't you call 911 like most people do when they scared for their life? Hey, I need you guys to come and help me. I left my belongings in there, and I need to get my belongings so I could go on my merry way. He is frightening me right now. That's what most people do, but I doubt that he was frightening her. I really think that she was mad because I got a feeling he ended the relationship. I think that the relationship, they drinking that night, they might have been painting or whatever, because they had Hennessy and a board of art. And they said she did art and she liked to draw. And let me tell you, they didn't say nothing about he do art. So it had to be her. So I got a feeling that she had got so comfortable being at this man's apartment. You can do art and all this stuff over there, Hennessy, everything. They was smashing. And I think that he probably told her that this was probably gonna be the last time. I mean, I think he probably wanted to end it. And it's sad. That's why they always say when you are in a relationship with someone, especially if it's very toxic, the most dangerous point of that time is to tell someone it's over. Because when they hear that it's over, they get very, very dangerous. That's why you need to have an exit plan, and you may have to tell them in a text somewhere safe, hey, it's over. So you can protect yourself. It's tragic, man. This story is so tragic. But anyway, guys, I will leave all my sources on notes as well. If y'all want to support the chat support this channel, y'all know what to do. Please, you can donate to any of my Venmo, my PayPal that I got on there, or my Cash App. You can't make this BS up. It helps out with the channel, man. It really does. Also, support the music. Go to Spotify, look up your artist, Joel Davis. Stream it, play it. Follow me back. Tell me what you think about the intro, the music, and everything. Anyway, thank y'all so much for hanging out with your boy. Please like, share, and subscribe like always. Until then, y'all know what it is. I am. And oh, by the way, I'm going to leave you with another ending of the new song so y'all can tell me what y'all think about it. I'm out.